everyone! Today we're going to be making spanakopita, one of my favorite Greek dishes. I've taken a recipe and all I've done is changed a couple of the ingredients to make it vegan. It's a great main dish, side dish, dish on the go. It freezes really well and keeps in the fridge for about 8 days. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's particularly great in the summertime when there's a lot of spinach and kale and leeks in farmers markets. Just bring it on home, chop it up, put it in a pastry dough, and there you go, you have spanakopita for a week. So let's get started. I'll show you everything step by step. Let's take a look at our ingredients for today. We're gonna have our parsley that's been sitting in the fridge in water. It's a great way to maintain it. I think I've been able to keep it in the fridge for about a week. Fresh dill, there's a bunch there. A leek, scallions, my favorite vegan feta, an onion, and then we're going to use all of the spinach, a bowl of kale,
I'll start by
a little bit of
chopping
jasmine
up
rice and flaxseed, just to make sure that the liquids are absorbed in the spanakopita and doesn't get all watery.
Notice how dirty it
is in the middle. Of course, we're going to use our
we'll have to wash that really
extra
thoroughly.
virgin olive oil back there, and a little bit of salt as well.
I'll chop the ends off my scallions. I'll chop off the ends off the dill as well because they're kind of hard and long. So now we're going to give the scallions and leek a good wash. Make sure you get all the dirt out of it. I'm going to use my food processor to chop up this kale really quickly. See how it's finely chopped. I'm going to do the same thing to the spinach. Put it through the food processor and get it all nice and small. I used to do this all by hand and it took a lot more time and effort to get this done. So the food processor is really a nice way to go if you have one. So now I do the same thing with the leeks and the scallions and also the herbs. I just keep using my food processor to chop everything up. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the onion. Just pulse it to the point where it's minced. It turned out a little bit soggy, so I'm going to use some paper towels just to get out the moisture. The last thing we want is a soggy spanakopita. So I'll just press this out and get all the juice out. I think I need one more paper towel. Now I've added about a half a cup of extra virgin olive oil and I'm mixing all the ingredients well together. Make sure you combine it really well, that you get all the herbs mixed in with the spinach and the kale. Now in Greece, this is something you can find in bakeries. It's a quick on-the-go snack or meal that you can pick up. They also call it hortopita, which means when you have a combination of spinach and herbs and kale and chard like we've done here. Sometimes they use chard as well. So that's the other name that it goes by. Interesting fact, they say that spanakopita was invented over 400 years ago. You can find it all over Greece. There's sometimes different variations, like sometimes they'll put sesame seeds on top, but the idea is pretty much the same. The flavor stays pretty much true to what we've made here today. So this is pretty much now done. You can check to see if there's any water at the bottom. This is how it looks like. And if we look at the bottom here, you'll see that there's no water. It's dry. That's what I mean by dry. It's still moist, but there's no water anywhere. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of salt on it and set it to the side so we can make our dough. So now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour down so it doesn't stick. Get my roller pin. Put a little bit of flour on this as well. And all I'm doing here is rolling out the dough that's already pre-made. And I'm just going to spread it out a little bit so that it fits the pan that I'm using. I'm using a cookie sheet. I start from the middle and I just kind of work my way out. Yeah, I'm not an expert at this, so it doesn't really take that much effort to get it right. This dough is pretty easy to work with. And it's cold. I just took it out of the fridge. That's the other key. Don't make sure that you're not using something that's room temperature. It makes it much easier to work with when it's cold. Okay, we're almost done. Maybe a little bit more. Oops. Now I'm going to take this and put it on the pan. I've already pre-oiled the pan so it's all nice and ready for me. This is what it looks like. I've set the oven to 375 degrees while I'm doing this. Now this is for the top. I'll do the same process. Okay, now it's time to put in the filling. We're just going to spread everything evenly. It looks like a lot, but once it cooks, it really cooks down. Just spread it out. Now we're going to fold over the ends. Not on top of each other, but just over the green. And then we're going to take a brush and brush some olive oil all around those corners so that when we put the top layer on top, the two don't stick together and make, an unfinished, doughy, kind of, uncooked mess. So you want to put the olive oil just lightly, nothing too heavy, all over there. I'm bringing over the top layer. What I'm going to do is go around and just pinch all the ends to the bottom sheet. And I made this kind of big, so I'm just going to have it fold so it'll have like a fluffy pastry dough kind of look on top. Just pinch all around. Now we're going to score the top. There's little openings everywhere so that the spinach basically could breathe in the oven so it doesn't bubble up. And then, as you can see, I've pressed all the sides. This is pretty much ready to go in the oven. I've put it on this rack so that it could breathe and get, a little bit cool from the bottom as well. You don't want that dough to stick.
Okay, let's check and see if it's done.
Remove it from your pan.
The hour is up.
And we'll leave it here for about 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness, that looks so good. It's perfectly golden. Time to take it out. So the spanakopita is now cooled down and I'm about to cut into it. Let's get started. Okay, this is it. Let's taste it. Oh my god. It's so good. You have to try it, it's really good. Till next time. cooks down, it's not